Welcome back, everybody. This is Latin's Fight Picks. Today we will go over the fight card for UFC 312, Duplessis vs Strickland 2, this Saturday, February 8th in Sydney, Australia. As usual, we will go over the fight card from first fight. Well, as best we can see the first fight in the list, because sometimes it doesn't quite work out exactly like that. But yeah, first fight to the main event. So let's start. First fight, Cody Steele versus Rong Zhu. Cody Steele, 5'9", 71-inch reach, 7 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws, 29 years old. Rong Zhu, 5'9", 72.5-inch reach, 25 wins, 6 losses, 24 years old. Let's see if I could get some stuff up here for a quick second. So move some stuff around. Sorry, guys. Just give me 1 second. I want to get some stuff that I can see. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, there we go. Having looked, oh, look at this. The order, well, actually this is, this looks like this is turned into the early prelim main event, but nevertheless, we'll go over that. Rong Zhu, he's been in the UFC, and then he got knocked out of the UFC after 3 losses, and he was quite young. He's only 24 years old. I mean, he's coming back to the UFC a second time, and he's 24 years old. He's getting better. He's really strong, great striker. I think his takedown defense is really improving big time, and he went back into the road to the UFC and won, and then he got let back into the UFC. So he fought Chris Padilla last time. It was a good competitive fight. Chris Padilla, somebody that a lot of people underestimated in all his fights. Very intelligent fighter, pretty good on the ground, good on the feet, and he did really well against him. Doctor stoppage due to an elbow. He is the underdog in this one, and he's fighting Cody Steele, who seems like you know, when I watched him in his Dana White Contender Series, he kept talking about his takedowns, and he's good on the ground, but he had a hard time taking the other guy down. And the other guy had pretty good takedown defense, and he was not. The 3 times he tried to take him down, the guy stuffed his takedowns quite easily. That was C. Blair. And looking at C. Blair's record, he has won his last 3. And if you look, he wasn't fighting the best competition. So hard to say how good Steele really is, even though he won by TKO with a liver shot in that fight. You know, he was winning the fight, but not by a lot, I would say. So having looked over his other record, I don't know if he should be the favorite. And well, maybe he should be the favorite, but I really think that Rong Zhu has a good chance of winning this. I think the fight stays on the feet. I think Cody Steele showed that, you know, even though I guess in past fights he was good on the ground, he can get stuffed. He can get his takedown stuffed. Rong Zhu has shown in that road to UFC that he's starting to stuff takedowns pretty good. He stuffed a few takedowns from Chris Padilla, who's pretty good at takedowns and is pretty good on the ground. So I would think this is going to play out on the feet. I think both of them are go forward, high pressure type of fighters. This is going to be an exciting fight. Something's going to give. And looking at it, I think it's a coin flip fight. I think Rong Zhu's got the better experience. I think he's fought the better competition, even though he might have lost against pretty decent competition. I think he's fought the better competition. And at plus 195, I definitely think he's the side to play on this one. Rong Zhu is going to be the pick. Low-level confidence pick. It's hard to tell how good Cody Steele is because of the level of competition he has been fighting. But Rong Zhu is going to be the pick on this one. Moving on. Jonathan Mikalev versus Kevin Jousset. Mikalev, 6 feet tall, 77-inch reach, 7 wins, 1 loss, 25 years old. Kevin Jousset, 6'2", 75-inch reach, 10 wins, 3 losses. 30 years old. 31 years old, sorry. You know, Kevin Jusay lost his last fight, but he lost his last fight to a guy that I consider that's pretty underrated. Well, now he's not underrated, but he was underrated before that. And he lost to Pooh Bear. Actually, no, he's not Pooh Bear anymore. He changed his handle. Brian Battle changed his handle to something. Let me know in the comments what that was. I remember he was Pooh Bear, and then he changed it to something else, something, you know, more strong. You know, even though I thought Pooh Bear was kind of cute, but it was nice, especially because of the contradiction. But nevertheless, he had a pretty good fight with Brian Battle, and Brian Battle can take a punch, and eventually Brian Battle got to Jusay, and Jusay was taking quite a few strong punches. I think he takes a really good punch. He's got a good judo background. I think Mikalev is good on the ground. He's very strong. He seems like he's very powerful. But Jusay is a very strong guy, and he's hard to take to the ground, and he's got the judo background for defense. I don't know. I think Jusay wins this. I think he's can stuff the takedowns. I think he's going to be pretty good on the feet. He does take a lot of shots. He doesn't move his head that often, like off the center line. I think Mikalev is not a great striker. I think he's a good striker. I think he's more of on the ground kind of fighter, and I think Jusay can stuff the takedowns for that. So I'm pretty confident that Jusay is going to win this fight. Moving on. Wang Kong versus Bruna Brazil. Wang Kong, 5'6", 66.5-inch reach, 6 wins, 1 loss, 32 years old. Bruna Brazil, 5'6", 65.5-inch reach, 10 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 31 years old. Wang Kong, you know, I picked her last fight, but I also had said, if you watched the video, that be careful with this fight because of how Wang Kong fights, and I think that I think it was, what was her name? What was her name that ended up beating her? I mean, it was a good upset. Don't get me wrong. What was her name? This fight has moved to the prelims now. It was in the early prelims at one point. What was her name? Fernandez. And Fernandez, you know, really worked on her takedown defense, stuffed some takedowns, very powerful striker, managed to catch Kong. It wasn't just with one punch, it was multiple punches. Kong is very tough, and when she got put on the ground, Fernandez jumped on her and ended up choking her out. I think it's a learning experience for Kong. I think that she's been going through a lot of these fighters, and she's a little arrogant, but I think she's very talented and she is very strong. And then this Bruna Brazil, I think she's moving up in weight class, because up to this point she was in a lower weight class and she was just towering. She was just a giant to these girls. But she also doesn't have a lot of power. She's good on the ground. She's got good submissions. I don't think this is going to go on the ground. I think she's too weak. I'm not a fan of Bruna Brazil. I was surprised the last time. I think there was one fight that she won that I had bet on the other girl and kind of ruined the parlay. I'm still mad at her for that. But now that she's moved up in weight class, I think that she gets controlled in this. I think that she's not as strong as Kong. I think she just gets out-muscled. She doesn't have that huge reach and length advantage that she had in the lower weight class. And that's what she had mainly is the she's good technically and she's good from distance, but that's going to go out the window in this one. And I don't think she's got the strength to handle Wang Kong. So Wang Kong is going to be the pick. Going to be your comeback fight. Yeah, I think that it's almost a setup fight for Wang Kong to get that Chinese fan base back online. Quillen Salkield versus Anshu Jubli. Quinnan Salkield, 6 feet tall, 75-inch reach, 7 wins, 1 draw, 25 years old. Anshu Jubli, 6 feet tall, 69-inch reach, 7 wins, 1 draw, 30 years old. I remember picking against Jubli when he was a huge favorite. It was one of the best picks. It was such a good feeling. And he had, when was it? Was it this one? Where is it here? He fought, I love this fight. It was such a good hit. Mike Breeden. Everybody wrote off Mike Breeden. And they're like, you know what? Mike Breeden can knock this guy out. Because Mike Breeden's a powerful striker, some good takedown defense, and he was roughly the same size. And I find that Jubilee was dominating a lot of guys because he was like 6 feet tall and he was taller than them, and he was wrestling a lot of these guys, and they didn't have wrestling defense. And then so yeah, and in this case, you got Salkild, who's really good on the ground. He's a real dog, good cardio. Jubilee's got good cardio, but the fact of the matter is that Jubilee's not going to be able to rely on his wrestling because Salkild's got good takedown defense and he's a pretty good wrestler and a good grappler himself. So it's going to be on the feet. And on the feet, the same size, and Salkild's got a longer reach and he fights from distance. That's how Jubilee also wins, is fighting from distance. He's a decent boxer. But you got Salkild, who's going to have a 6-inch reach advantage. From many different angles. I don't agree with a minus 725 price tag. I think they're really remembering how Jubilee kind of just quit in the last fight, and mentally just got beat by Breeden. But minus 725 is not worth the bet. It's way too much. I mean, at this point, you can take a dog shot on Jubilee, but Salkild's going to be the pick. I think he's got him covered everywhere. So, decent degree of confidence, probably mid-level confidence, just because we haven't seen Salkild fight at a higher level, and we don't know what Jubilee's doing behind the scenes to fix what was not going right for him. And he's still, somewhat talented. So, yeah, Salkild's going to be the pick. Mid-range confidence. I'd like to say high, but no, I don't know. Salkild hasn't proven himself yet. Moving on to the prelims, which, well, as I said, is not necessarily the prelims. These are the original list I had from last week. Let's say this is the order. Tom Nolan versus Vyacheslav Borshev. Tom Nolan, 6'3", 73-inch reach, 8 wins, 1 loss, 24 years old. Vyacheslav Borshev, 5'11", 68-inch reach, 8 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 33 years old. I am not a Tom Nolan believer. I don't think he's that good. I think he's really has taken advantage of the fact that he is so tall and so long. He can get hurt. He can get outstruck. He can get countered. He can get KO'd. He's good on the ground, but only against guys that aren't good on the ground. And Vyacheslav Borshev is a really good striker. He's going to be the smaller guy in there, less reach, but I don't think that's nothing new for Borshev. I think he's going to be able to get inside of Nolan and hurt Nolan. And I think he's going to knock Nolan out. That's what I think. Or TKO. So looking at Nolan's records, I remember I bet on Mota to beat Nolan. It was a nice hit, and he got KO'd. Even though Mota is up and down, where he can lose a fight to a decision, he does have power, and he had managed to land on Nolan. Borshev is a really good technical striker. He's decent on the ground. He's always getting taken down, but he's really working on his takedown defense, and he's working on his get-up game. And the guys that have been keeping him on the ground were pretty good high-level guys. And he's so tough, and he's gonna go in there. He's got great striking. He's got all the fundamentals down. He's gonna, he knows how to get in on tall guys. He's got great body shots, and there's a lot of body in Nolan that's going to be hit right there. I think Borshev's going to be the side, high degree of confidence. Moving on, I like this fight here. Colby Thickness versus Alexander Tuporia. Okay, Cody Haddon was supposed to fight, and I was going to fade Tuporia. And now Colby Thickness is going to fight Tuporia. This is going to be Thickness is being called in at the last minute. Oh, by the way, he's what is he? What? Do they have any stats for these guys? Because these guys are they both didn't have stats. Alexander Tuporia is the brother of Ilia Tuporia. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like him already. And the only reason I say that is because I'm a fan of Volkanovski, and I was really ticked off that he got KO'd by Ilia Tuporia, even though up to that point, Ilia Topuria was losing that fight. So, fair warning, this could be a biased pick. Biased pick coming in. You know what? Here, what Alexander Topuria, no height. This is how little this guy fights, and I'm going to go into that, is the fact that he doesn't fight very often, fights very little, sporadically, and he's fighting absolutely nobodies. So, but he is dominating these nobodies, and supposedly he's his brother with Ilya, and they train together and all that. Colby Thickness, 5'9", doesn't even have a reach. He's just a guy on the regional scene. I saw him fight. He seems like he's really tough. He's really durable. He knows how to battle through adversity. He's got good cardio, but he is being called at the last minute. I don't know if he's UFC level, but he's close to it. If it was Cody Haddon, I would be betting on Cody Haddon. But this Thickness is a little less certain, and he trains out of the camp with Volkanovski, so you're going to have Volkanovski in his corner, and you're going to have Ilia Topuria in his brother's corner. Ironic. So, I'm very biased on this one, but with a little bit of bias, I'm going to pick Cody Thickness because I don't know who Alexander Topuria is. He hardly has fought anybody and fights very sporadically, and you got Thickness, who has been fighting frequently and has been improving as he's been fighting. He's getting better and better and better. He's tough, he's durable, he's good on the ground, okay striking. And Topuria, he looks like he's just going to be trying to get people on the ground and ground and pound. So having said that, you don't see a lot from him. Who knows? Maybe he'll surprise us. But looking at his fight, the last time he fought was 2 years ago. And the time before that was a year before that. And the time before that was, 6 months before that. And before that was 6 years. It doesn't, and then he had lost that to somebody, Ivanov from Bulgaria. But then he wins by TKO, basically ground and pound. So, I don't know, man. It's, if I'm going to pick a dog, I might as well pick this guy because of my bias and the fact that I've seen Cody Thickness fight, and he seems, low-level UFC. I haven't seen Alexander Topuria fight anybody UFC level. He has been beating these guys by first-round KO. I don't even know what that means. The pick's going to be the Cody Thickness. It's going to be a dog shot on this one. Lowest level confidence. I don't know if you should follow me, but yeah, we'll see. Moving on, Hang Sung Park versus Nian Jardal, Tumen Demburl. This is going to be a hard one. Anyways, Park, 5'7", 66-inch reach, 9 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws, 29 years old. Tumen Demburl, 5'7", 71-inch reach, 8 wins, 1 loss, 26 years old. Park, good on the feet, good on the ground. He's always seems like he's in reasonably close fights, and he finds a way to win. He finds a way by TKO. He finds a way by submission, which worries me because if he gets caught too far behind and then he goes to a decision, he might lose. And that's what worries me. And Neanderthal is a pretty good fighter. They're the same size. He's young. He's got a longer reach. He's a real big brawler. I think there's going to be a speed advantage for Park. I think on the ground, Park is the more dangerous guy. I think Neanderthal has submissions. He's okay on the ground, but I think he's going to try to keep it on the feet. And these guys are going to fight it out. And, he went to a split decision with Hernandez, who's not too bad. And Park, he hasn't really fought anybody really good. So it's going to be, this one I went back and forth on. And Park is a decent size favorite. So, you know, I mean, he could get caught and Neanderthal, Neanderthal. Anyways, Timberland, let's call him Timberland. He looks like he's pretty durable, so he could take a punch to give a punch, and it looks like he's really dangerous. So, having said that, I think Park can take him to the ground. I think there's going to be, you know, exchanges on the ground. I don't know if Park can control him on the ground. I think he's going to get some takedowns. I think Park's going to be a little bit faster. Timberman is Tim Underbarrel is hittable. He's doesn't move as well, and he's going to get hit, but he's definitely durable enough to take one to give one. So it's going to be a dangerous fight. But I think Park's going to win this one. Yeah, he's a decent sized favorite. I'm not a big fan of that because this fight's really close. I don't know where he's going to be for me. Yeah, low level confidence on Park. These guys are both relatively new. We haven't seen a lot, and they're still developing on top of that. Moving on, Jack Jenkins versus Gabriel Santos. Jack Jenkins, 5'7", 68-inch reach, 13 wins, 3 losses, 31 years old. Gabriel Santos, 5'9", 70-inch reach, 11 wins, 2 losses, 2 years old. 11 wins, 2 losses, 28 years old. If I hear the announcers talk about Jack Jenkins leg kicking somebody with his leg kick TKOs, and don't get me wrong, he's got great leg kicks, but I just don't want to hear about how he kicked it and he knocked, you know, he damaged his fibula and he got the leg kick TKO. It's like over and over they keep talking about the same thing. Yeah, he's got good leg kicks. Okay, we just keep talking about the ancient history. You know, he hasn't leg kick TKO'd. I don't even know who he's leg kick TKO'd lately. So let's get off of that already. Even though he's got good, decent leg kicks, but that's because he's short and he's stout and you know, he's fairly powerful. But you know, and he's got decent takedown defense. But I just don't see Jack Jenkins beating Gabriel Santos anywhere. I think Gabriel Santos is going to beat Jack Jenkins. I think Gabriel Santos is a really good fighter. Who did Jack Jenkins beat last time? Well, I remember betting against Jack Jenkins, and I bet on Mariscal, and it was a pretty good payout. And everybody just didn't pick Mariscal, didn't believe it. They're like, no, Mariscal is better than Jack Jenkins. I mean, granted, it was a TKO because he dislocated his elbow, but the writing was on the wall. Mariscal was going to wear this guy out like usual in Mariscal fashion. He beat Herbert Burns just recently, but who doesn't beat Herbert Burns? Where's this guy? Santos, you know, he ended up getting beat Yingza, which is not a bad fighter. TKO by Onama. I mean, Onama's, you know, he's really coming into his own. Split decision with Leron Murphy. I mean, look at this guy. I mean, Jenkins wouldn't come close to beating Leron Murphy. So, yeah, Santos is going to be the pick. High degree of confidence. Moving on. Jake Matthews versus Francisco Prado. Jake Matthews, 5'11", 73-inch reach, 20 wins, 7 losses, 30 years old. Francisco Prado, 5'10", 69-inch reach, 12 wins, 2 losses, 22 years old. The fact is that Prado is shorter. I think he's moving up in weight class in this one. I think he moved up. He's at 170 and he was at 155. Maybe this is going to really help him out. But yeah, he moved up. So he's dangerous. The problem is this. He had a problem with a really long, lanky guy at 155. And now he's moving up and he's fighting a guy still a little taller with a little more reach. Granted, it's fairly close. He's got a lot of power, so he can knock out anybody. So I'm wondering if he's a little slow, so he was slow for 155, and maybe he's going to be a little faster for 170. So the speed might not be such a big discrepancy because these are bigger guys who are naturally slower. So that worries me because I don't like Francisco Prado. I don't think he's that talented. He's just a brawler, throws big power punches. but he's 22 years old. I'm sure he's learning a lot of new tricks. Jake Matthews, I went back and forth on this one. I like Jake Matthews. He's talented. He's really good on the ground. He's got good jiu-jitsu. And he's a decent striker, but he can be a little chinny. And this is exactly what happened when he fought Semmelsberger. And I was screaming at the TV as Semmelsberger wasn't winning the fight, but every once in a while he would hurt Matthews. And Matthews lost the decision. And it was really disappointing. But, and this is what I'm scared of this happening, is that Matthews is going to go in there and the Kilter kid's going to go in there and start swinging and give the fans what they want. When what he should be doing is trying to take Prado down like his countryman did. What's his name? Malarkey, and win a slow grinding decision on the ground. That's what he should be doing. So maybe somebody's going to talk to him and say, look, man, just take this guy on the ground and win this fight. Don't go out swinging, because he just has to land one and he's going to hurt you. He might not be able to, he might not knock you out, but he's going to take the round and then you're going to be down. So I don't know if he's got the IQ for that. I mean, he seems like a fairly smart guy. He's decent camp, but it's hard to tell how they're going to come in here, you know. But he's got good takedowns. He should be able to win this. But, you know, if Prado does hit him, I don't think he's going to KO him. I think he's just going to steal these rounds. But he looked decent against Phil Rowe, who's kind of a head case. You know, he lost against Michael Morales, who was really good. He beat D. Flowers by a submission. Semmelsberger, you know, he should have beat Semmelsberger, but he stayed on the feet just long enough where he'd get clipped and lose these rounds, which is what I'm scared of here. But having said that, I think Semmelsberger was the taller guy. I think he was a little taller. I think he had a little bit more reach. And I think that's not the case here. So I will go with Jake Matthews, even though I question his decision-making and sometimes his chin. Not saying that he's chinny as in to get KO'd, he can get hurt. And that's what Prado is. But having said that, I mean, we'll see how fast Prado is at this weight class. If he's faster, then there's going to be a problem for Matthews. If he's still relatively slow, then Matthews will be able to avoid it. Matthews is going to be the pick. Mid-level confidence. Moving on. Jimmy Crute. Jimmy Crute versus Rodolfo Bellato. Jimmy Crute, 6'2", 74-inch reach, 12 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 28 years old. Rodolfo Bellato, 6'3", 75-inch reach, 12 wins, 2 losses, 28 years old. I went back and forth on this one because Jimmy Crute at one time showed huge amount of potential. And these last 2 fights, and I bet on him in the last 2 fights, and I was screaming at the TV, and I was very disappointed when he fought Manyfield. And I don't think Manyfield's that good, but he has surprised me. He has surprised me in a few situations. And then now he's disappeared for a while, and he hasn't fought in a while. So I don't know. It's a mental game with this Crute guy. He seems so powerful, so strong, and then all of a sudden he just seems like he falls apart. So Rodolfo Bellato, I don't think he's fantastic, but he seems like he's got a lot of heart. And the last time he fought against Pretoria. And I had said that Pretoria could win this by KO, and he was a really big favorite, so I had bet on it. And Pretoria almost knocked him out in the second round. But the fight could have been stopped with Pretoria pounding on him. But this guy is so tough. He just stuck with it, try to control the Pretoria's hands, and the guy recovered and somehow got Pretoria over, and then ended up TKOing Pretoria on the ground. The guy showed so much heart, and I think this is the difference: is Jimmy Crute doesn't have as much heart as Bellato, and I think it would be a nice storyline where Jimmy Crute hasn't fought in a year and a half. Somebody comes back to Australia, he fights him, and he wins, and he's back in the UFC, back on track. I don't think that's the case. I think Bellato's gonna just outgrind him and outdetermine him, and Cruz is gonna get a paycheck, and that'll be it. So Bellato's gonna be the pick, high degree of confidence. Moving on, Justin Tafa versus Taliesin Teixeira. Justin Tafa, 6 feet tall, 74-inch reach, 7 wins, 4 losses, 31 years old. Taliesin Teixeira, 6'7", 83-inch reach, 7 wins, 25 years, 7 wins, 0 draws, 25 years old. They keep giving Tafa these giants. Keep giving Tafa these giants. 6'6", 6'7", and he's not even a tall heavyweight. I feel bad for the guy. He's got a lot of power. But he's got pretty good takedown defense. I don't see Teixeira going for the takedowns here. I think these guys are going to be striking it out in the feet. And even though Tafa has lost quite a few fights, he has been KOing some pretty big guys. And he lost against Williams, and he almost beat Williams. I can't remember what. I bet on Tafa on that one, and he almost beat Williams. And he almost KO'd Williams. But he managed to stick in there, and he tried to. I remember him kept trying to head kick Williams, and Williams would somehow get his foot stuck on his shoulder, and he'd take Tafa down. And it was basically just bad decision making on Tafa's part. I mean, I hope he doesn't try head kick this 6'7" guy. I mean, he could probably stuff his takedowns, but if he ends up on the bottom, he's going to have a hard time getting up. But I didn't like what I saw with Teixeira. I'm not saying that he's not tough. He's very tough, very durable, very long. He's got a huge reach, but he doesn't move his head very well, and he gets hit. That's a concern for me. And Tafa has been fighting these big guys, and he knows how to get in on them. So he's going to be getting hit. So will Teixeira be able to handle the power and be a lot tougher and stronger than we all know he can be? I don't know. But he's going to get hit. So I'm pretty sure that he's going to be able to get hit. And I don't think he's got good defense. He's a good striker. He just has terrible defense. His head just sits there, and it's one of these really long necks. So it's, it's like on a pedestal. So I could just see him getting hit. So he's going to get hit. Now, whether you're going to get knocked out, we'll find out exactly how tough he is. But Tafa's going to be the underdog. Teixeira is a new guy. He just won his Dana White Contender Series, and I was not impressed with his Dana White Contender Series, even though he ended up KOing the guy. The guy he KO'd was much smaller, and he was landing on him, let me tell you, but he was eating him. So that's impressive. But where was he? But I think Tafa is going to be a different kind of power when he lands on him. So I'm going to go with Tafa for the upset. He's a underdog as well. So he was a larger underdog earlier. He's just closing in a little bit. Zhang Wei Li, the co-main event. Zhang Wei Li versus Tatiana Suarez. Zhang Wei Li, 5'4", 63-inch reach, 25 wins, 3 losses, 35 years old. Tatiana Suarez, 5'5", 66-inch reach, 11 wins, 0 draws, 34 years old. They're both at the peak of their career. Wei Li's going to be, she was the favorite. Now she's the underdog. Tatiana Suarez is going to be a little bigger. I think she's going to be a lot bigger when they go inside that ring. She's, they say only an inch, but I think it's going to be just more. Zhang Wei Li is going to be faster. She's proven. She's fought the highest level competition. She's gone 5 rounds. She's good on the ground. She's good on the feet. She is at the top of her game. Tatiana Suarez, she's going to be a little slower. She's got good takedowns. And she can muscle her way to these takedowns. I don't know what she's going to look like in the 4th and 5th round. That we don't know. Is she going to start to get tired in those championship rounds? On the feet, Zhang Wei Li is going to be faster than her. So, but Tatiana Suarez is going to be so much bigger. I think she's going to be so much stronger as well. So that's going to be the decision. Is Zhang Wei Li just going to go down to a decision victory here? Or Suarez going to go down to a decision victory by keeping her on the ground and controlling her? I kind of went back and forth on this one. I ended up picking Suarez when she was the favorite. So when she was the underdog, I was very confident in that pick. Now they had flipped. Now she is the favorite, and now I'm not so confident in the pick. But I'm gonna stick with Suarez. You know, really low level confidence. I don't know what she's gonna look like in the 4th and 5th round, and we know Zhang Weili is gonna be there throwing punches, but Suarez is gonna be so much stronger in those wrestling positions, and I'm gonna go with her just because of the strength. Hopefully, she has the gas tank to go the 4th and 5th round. You know, she's not going to try bang with Weili. She's going to be too fast. She's going to try close the distance and wrestle her. And I'm going to go with Suarez. I would much rather have it at plus money. But, you know, lower level confidence, Suarez. Moving on. Dricus Duplessis versus Sean Strickland. Dricus Duplessis, 6'1", 76 reach, 21 2 losses, 31 years old. Sean Strickland, 6'1", 76 reach, 29 wins, 6 losses, 33 years old. These guys are fairly evenly matched. But I think this fight, it's going to be simple. I think Strickland has had his moment in the sun. I think he's great. I think he's a good fighter. I think Dricus is getting better. I think he's getting better every single fight. I think this fight's going to be different because I think Dricus is going to be better. And I think Sean Strickland is going to be exactly the same. So, I mean, everyone watched the last fight. It's going to be fairly similar. I think that Dricus is going to have more takedowns. I think he might be able to control him a little more. I think he's just getting better at that part of his game. So I think you're going to see more of that. So I don't think you're going to see a split decision. I think Duplessis is going to win this fight, unanimous decision. Let's take a look at the board. Once again, not financial advice, bet only what you can afford to lose. This is only my picks from most confident to least confident. You know, do your own research and combine what you think and what I think, and maybe you'll get yourself some winning tickets and some winning cards. Going from Kong, I think Kong's gonna, I think it's a setup fight. I think Bruna Brazil's moving up. She's not going to have the advantages she needs. Kong's going to make her come back on this one and win this fight. I don't think it's going to be very difficult. Santos, I think he's got Jack Jenkins beat everywhere. It's a good bet. Giuseppe, I think, you know, he's the more proven fighter than the new guy. I think he wins. Barshev, I do your confidence. This guy is way too good of a striker, way too slick for Nolan. Bellato, way too determined against Crute, who I question his, I shouldn't say grit. Just I think it's a more of a the mental game part. So Bellato, I mean, he doesn't seem like the sharpest knife in the drawer, but the guy is determined. So Bellato's going to be the pick. Duplessis, I think it's going to be easier this time. He's going to win. Jake Matthews, you know, Jake Matthews, the way talented mixed martial artist. I just want him to stop being a tough guy and be the smart guy in there and win this on the ground. Salkid, I think, again, he's got the stamina, he's got the reach, he's got the height. I think that Jubilee's going to have a problem with that. And all the advantages that he normally has in fights are gone. So he's going to be the pick. Park, I think he's going to be a little faster. The other guy's still dangerous. Park really hasn't proven a lot. Again, he tends to fall behind in fights, and but he's very dynamic. I think he makes things happen, especially on the ground. He's going to be the pick. I'm really tentative on this one, but yeah, Park's going to be the pick. Suarez, I don't like the -20. I got it low-level confidence because Weili has shown she's on top of her game, but I have not seen Weili really fight fantastic competition. And what do I mean by that? Who did she fight last time? Where was she? Mind you, Suarez hasn't fought the top level competition either. You know, Yang Xiaonan was able to take Wei Li down and control her on the ground, and Wei Li had a hard time taking her down. Yeah, you know, Yan Xianan put up a really good fight against Wei Li, and that was a really close fight. And I think Suarez is going to be able to get her on the ground and control her on the ground. He's just going to be stronger, and that's going to be the difference. You know, Lemos Esparza, you know, the other girls, you know, they're I think Suarez beats all of them as well. So the how Xiaonan looked against Wei Li, especially later on as the fight went on, um, leads me to believe that Suarez is going to be just too strong on the ground against Wei Li, even though Wei Li is very talented. Tafa, you know, hey, Tafa by KO. How else is it going to go down? Somebody's getting knocked out. Fight's not going to go the distance. Oh, I didn't write that down. You know, sorry guys. Normally I write if fight's going to go the distance, over 1.5, and stuff like that. I didn't do it this time. I forgot. Sorry. Ron Zhu, I think he lost the last fight by by the elbow, and I think he's being overlooked here. So I'm gonna go with him, low level confidence, but I think he's being overlooked. I think he's better than these odds. Let's put it that way. And I don't think Steele is better than. I don't think should be that big of a favorite. He's gonna be the pick. Thickness, again, very biased. Volkanovski's in his corner. He's in his camp. He's fighting Alexander Topuria. I don't want to bet on someone because they got the Topuria name or he's got the champ in the corner. Mind you, I'm betting him because he's got the ex-champ in the corner. I'm just kidding. But having said that, Alexander Topuria hasn't fought anyone. So we don't even know what we're going to get. At plus 300, I'm going to pick the guy who's been fighting 4 times this year. So, and he's shown huge improvements. Going to go with thickness, low level confidence. I don't know if you should follow me on this one, but this is going to be the pick. Well, if the good times roll, it's going to be an exciting card. All right. If you like the content, hit like. If you want to subscribe and get notified when next time I put out a video, hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining me. Good luck on your bets. And hopefully we cash some tickets. And we will see you guys next week for the next fight card. Please leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you agree with and what you don't agree with. I always respond to the comments. Please leave a comment. Also, what was Pooh Bear's new handle? What's his new, if you could leave that in the comment too. Otherwise, thank you very much. We'll see you guys next time.